Welcome to Two Poor Artists, where we're poor at making robots, but mostly we're poor at making art. I'm Isaac.
And my name is Benj.
That's right. His name is Benj. And my name is Isaac, and we are the Two Poor Artists.
You've already said your name.
Yeah, that's a good point. But the point is, today we are going to be drawing poor art. You know, we are famous, professional, soon-to-be published, prize-winning, gallery-hanging artists.
Keep trying to be published.
Yeah, it's trickier than you might think.
Amazon keeps demanding more of us.
One of these days.
They want more of our art.
We've definitely written a book, though. The point is, we are artists of the poor variety, and we draw things that we see in the world. You know, we draw holidays, and we draw, movie titles, and we draw just random everyday things.
Yep. We're drawing iRobot.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna. It's very direct.
I was getting tired.
I had a whole
Your
monologue.
roundabout monologue thing.
I was on page 2 of 6 of the monologue.
Yeah, I saw you flipping through your pages.
Yeah, we discussed
it.
Thanks for, I'll just crumple this up and put it in the trash bin.
Yep. iRobot.
iRobot. But, why are we drawing
The beloved book by Isaac Asimov.
I mean, it's beloved if you're, a real sci-fi nerd from the 50s. Before they had...
Technically, iRobot was collected in
but the stories...
the 80s.
The thing is, science fiction had it, a mini heyday in the 50s, when they were
because of Isaac Asimov.
We're going to go to outer space. Yeah, he was a big part of it.
Yeah.
And everybody started imagining robots and things. Now we're living in that, though. We live in the future that they imagined when they invented, sci-fi.
Right. Although, Isaac Asimov's is better than most. You watch, Star Trek, and you're like, most of what we have is better than them. But Isaac Asimov was actually pretty good at being, doing time travel and
he was a pretty
robots
decent sci-fi writer, right?
Better.
But people think sci-fi as a genre hasn't actually been around all that long. In fact, they credit Mary Shelley, the writer and author of Frankenstein. They credit her basically with inventing the genre,
right?
Because before
even though nowadays we would consider that closer to fantasy,
we would.
It's but it was a scientist.
But it was the whole concept of using science to do something,
Yeah, because before that, you wouldn't have even thought of science.
Yeah, because for a good portion of human history, I think the harnessing and creation of electricity, around that time in history was when people for the first time were like, yes, technology can do stuff.
Right. Because before that, what would you even call, you could almost argue, King Arthur, he used a sword.
Yeah, exactly.
The best technology of the time. You just didn't call that
it's
sci-fi.
Things like swords and the wheel. The wheel was the most incredible invention up until electricity, I feel like.
Right.
There wasn't a huge advancement over thousands and thousands of years of history.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we have electricity, and right around that, what do they call that? The Industrial Revolution.
Right. And
then the world changes.
And obviously we're not saying there's literally no advantages. Obviously, there's medical, and there's figuring out how to use dye. There's things, but they weren't life. Medical science is life changing, but there wasn't something that you could be and now we can fly, or there wasn't those sci-fi elements.
Exactly, right? People didn't put a lot of they didn't think technology could do all that much.
Yeah.
And then we get Frankenstein. They're starting to believe yes, technology is advancing so much we could bring someone back from the dead, which is ridiculous, but also that was the time when they started actually having that imagination. The point is, we're going to ruin sci-fi. Yes, because we are living, as I said, in the future. Everything Isaac Asimov had envisioned back in the 50s, we just have now for the most part.
Well, not. We don't have time travel or robots that are deciding if they're.
Let's be honest. If we had time travel, you think anybody would tell us? The Two Poor Artists?
They would tell. Yeah, of course they would.
They'd be like, go back and stop yourselves from starting.
No, they would be like, hey, you guys are the biggest thing in the future.
Yeah.
All your hotels, every hotel is a Two Poor Artist hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they would come tell us.
And why haven't they?
Because it doesn't exist.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's my point.
That's the hope.
We own all the hotels in the future. That's obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
time travel doesn't exist to prove it.
I'm willing to believe that, because if not, it's just sad. So, but here's the thing: there's a man nowadays who, I guess, watched the iRobot movie from the early 2000s, and he probably read the books too. But he's like, I've got enough money and enough scientists and engineers to just do this stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, why don't I? Some people might call this guy an eccentric billionaire, and he is. He's like the definition of an eccentric billionaire.
He's how all billionaires should be.
Yes.
Like, if you're a billionaire and you're not like Elon Musk, you're doing it wrong.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Elon Musk in case you couldn't tell. Like,
yeah,
let's see.
There's so
many boring billionaires.
I know.
Like Bill Gates, so boring. Like boring, and maybe even like secret evil genius.
Well, it's not secret.
He's pretty evil. Yeah,
he
like
went on a TED Talk and talked about killing off everyone.
But then you have people like Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos is just like the sad billionaire. He's like, I'm going to build a spaceship too. And you're like, but why is it so uncool, and why are you? You know, why?
He's just like, his best things is just copying the other eccentric billionaires.
Exactly. And then you have like your oil, billionaires in the Middle East, and I don't know what they do other than like wear gold. I feel like they just have gold. They just like build golden palaces, and they go to Dubai and they spend all their gold.
There's also that third billionaire in America. I mean, there's more than three, but the third one that built a rocket, the cowboy guy.
I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, he built a rocket.
It's just a billionaire cowboy.
Yeah,
I mean that's a kind of eccentric billionaire.
He's cooler than Bezos, of course, but he's also just like he keeps too low a profile.
It's like I mean, billionaire cowboy. They just build like solid gold mechanical bowls.
Yeah, like he's probably living his own good life, but he's not in the news every day. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with that?
I imagine he's the kind that has like a solid gold bathtub and just bathes in his money.
Yeah,
while his cows roam the prairie. Like he's boring.
Right.
We want eccentric billionaires like Elon Musk. The kind of billionaires that are like, I'm going to create a company that makes just whatever I want. Like I want a flamethrower. I'm going to make a company called the Boring Company.
Yeah,
and they're going to make a flamethrower. But
he made not flamethrowers.
Not his you can't make a flamethrower. Apparently, there's laws and stuff.
Right, but you can make a not flamethrower. Yeah,
not a flamethrower was the name on the bottom
of his flamethrower.
But
it threw flames for sure.
It did, but it was not a flame.
No, yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? Let's just make spaceships because that's a cool,
because that's just a bigger flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly right. And now he's gotten into the robot game, which is what brings us to today's title. Because just the other day, Elon got together and he threw a big party with a bunch of robots. He had three main robots. One was a robot car, like a robot taxi. Super cool, golden. It's just a taxi with no driver. Yeah. It doesn't look like those crazy ones. You want. Yeah, it is.
It's all the fun of a taxi without any of the social anxiety.
Exactly right. Because nobody wants to get into a car with somebody who, wants to talk to them.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, let's just be honest, probably doesn't speak your language very well.
And will probably drive crazy.
Yeah. Or drive purposely bad so that you have to pay more money, right? Yeah. We want robot precision for this job. Plus, it frees up an extra seat.
Yeah.
We have these in Arizona. There's a company called Waymo that makes them. But here's the thing about the Waymo cars.
Which is Google, I believe.
Yeah, they're lame looking, though.
Yeah, they are.
They look like a car with 50 cameras strapped to them because that's what they are.
Yeah.
Like, if you see them going down the street, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. It has no driver. But then it's also like, but it's so lame looking.
Yep.
Elon Musk's is like sleek and gold. It just looks like a cooler Tesla and somehow can drive you around with no driver. That was the first thing. The second thing was I don't know if he called it a bus or a van or what it was called, but it's basically a bigger driverless car. Yeah. But have you seen the pictures of the inside of this thing?
I have not, actually.
Beautiful. Here, we'll put one up on the screen. That means you're going to have to look it up later.
Yep.
At
9:45.
Yeah, we got to keep track of these kind of things. We're not spending an hour later. Anyway, the point is, he made this. It basically just goes down the road and you just get in it and it just drives you around, but like a van or a bus worth.
Right.
Super nice looking, but it looks exactly like the one from iRobot. In fact, I just saw this picture here. We'll put this up on the screen too. Oh, in just a second. Hang on, let me explain the third thing. The third thing he made was a robot, like a personal, butler robot.
Right.
Goes into your house, makes you food, does your laundry.
Which is what everyone has always wanted.
It is.
Like all these people have been complaining a lot because like AI's been a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and everyone's like, the AI is cool and all, but what is it doing? It's doing the creative things. Yeah, it's like, we'll draw a picture for you.
Yeah,
we'll write a poem for you.
My email will be, a little easier to send because of AI.
But it's like
my resume.
Yeah, or like, but it's like the main thing people are using it for is like, it will write music, it'll draw pictures, it will do. It's all awesome, but
it does
it's like
you time.
That's like the stuff I enjoy doing, the creative stuff.
Exactly.
Like I like drawing. I don't need the AI to draw for me. I do because it's better than me.
Yeah.
But
making food,
and
like
doing making
laundry?
Food and doing laundry like that. It's like, I'm so glad this AI can write this poem for me, so I can go and do laundry. It's like. We wanted the opposite.
Exactly right. And Elon has heard the cries of the public.
Yes.
And he's also clearly seen the movie iRobot. Because if you look, and here we can put this picture up on the screen too. If you look at these three, he's clearly copied the design of the robot from the movie iRobot.
Yeah.
The bus van thing.
But without the faces. Like the faces were creepy in iRobot.
And he copied the car though. Like if you look at this picture, all three of them are just identical. It's pretty awesome. Like, and he clearly copied these designs because he watched the movie and he's like, this is how people picture the future, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Yep. And
he did a great job. Yeah. And he got to show him off at this big event. He didn't call him iRobot. His robot is called Optimus, which is clearly after like Optimus Prime, like the Transformer, like the leader of the Transformers.
Yeah, it'll probably be like the first version. Like it's the robots are Optimus.
Yeah,
the first one will be Prime.
Of course, because that's what you want.
Yeah.
And he got together. He had a big party where he showed off that he had a bunch of people arrive in one of the like van bus things. And he drove away in the taxi. And then he had a party where these robots just walked around and like talked to people and interacted with them. Like there's like videos of like people playing rock paper scissors with them and asking them questions. And then he had them like serving drinks and like all these crazy things that you just want robots to do. He's just done it.
Yeah, and lots of people just to say this. Lots of people are complaining because some of what the robots were doing was not controlled by AI, but by humans. But the people that are complaining about that need to understand that that's not the point, because he's not like saying these are out now, right? No, the point is that the robot is capable of doing those things. It can do the hand motions. It can do all of the things.
Yeah.
And the AIs also exist. Like, he's claiming these are going to come out in, like, a year and a half. He has that long to, have the AI control the robots.
He's been pretty good, historically, of, like, when he says something is going to come out, it comes out relatively around when he says it does. So this is not far off.
Usually when something gets delayed, it's because the government steps in and is like, you know what? We don't trust driving cars. So you may have made a self-driving car, but...
You can't drive it.
You can't drive it anywhere, and he's like, "Well, I promised it, and it exists."
Yeah, but here's the thing: today we're gonna draw iRobot.
Yes,
because this is kind of the thing I think most people think of when they think of robots is just the name iRobot.
Right. I mean, the movie with Will Smith.
The one from 2004.
Like we'll have to talk about that movie. So
we will. It's a great movie, and it really does go show a lot of things that I think are now becoming things for the future.
Yeah, because I mean, you watch iRobot.
Probably draw.
Yeah,
that's what people are here for.
Like you watch iRobot, and you're like, I want that.
Yeah,
I want not necessarily the whole robots attacking everyone thing, but like I want a robot that does all of my chores for me and drives my car.
There's some pretty cool things in that movie. Yeah, like you have like robots that just like run your whole like building, right? Like there's one that just runs the main company in the movie.
Right.
Turns out to be the bad guy, but that's beside the point. It could run a whole company. You have robots that do your everyday chores. Those are like the main part of the movie. Actually, is that they everybody just like subscribes and buys a robot, and they dropped off and they come into your house, and they've got creepy faces. It's true, but Elon clearly understood we didn't want to be looking into through the windows of the soul of the robot for something that doesn't have a soul.
Yeah, and they also had like weird like mouths, like, and they're not the worst because they did like they're clearly like silicone, like fake.
Yeah,
like it wasn't quite Uncanny Valley, but it was like close in the movie.
It was too much for
he Elon was smart with his design, though.
That's basically what we're saying. Let's talk about the movie for a few minutes, though. First of all, it has Will Smith in it, which makes it just one of the better movies.
Yeah.
You know, say what you will about Will Smith slapping people and stuff, but he's still like.
Is that still like a thing people talk about?
Like, have you seen Will Smith since then? No, he's been like a recluse for the most part since then. You know, like he won the award for like best actor of the year. Mm-hmm. Then he slapped somebody, and then like he just hasn't been in a movie because people aren't willing to deal with that kind of divaness. It's a shame, really. I think he did another Bad Boys movie. I've never really seen those.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but,
yeah. I remember my dad talking about.
Give it a year or two, there'll be another Men in Black movie. Something like that. But he's one of my favorite actors, and just putting him in this movie's also got young Shia LaBeouf in it. Another actor you really just don't.
He's
see
in
anymore.
like one scene.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, it's a good movie. It's got the main guy from Babe in it. You know the movie about the pig, Babe? The one that's like, hey, you pig. Yeah, that guy. He's in it. But it's a good... It's funny, because the main character, Will Smith's character in it, he's like the retro guy, you know? He's like, he doesn't like robots and like all the future stuff, so he's trying to be all like retro and... I mean,
it's like a little bit more complex than that.
It is.
There's a reason he doesn't trust robots.
Yeah, and he has a pretty good reason for not trusting them. It's not like he's just a big old jerk.
Yeah.
That guy clearly got his thumb stuck in a door. Like, it's stuck in the door right now. The guy you're drawing.
Yeah.
Is that a robot?
No, this is a man.
Man.
The future.
Sleep mask man, they call him.
Nope.
Sleep mask man with a thumb in the door. He looks like he's just super slyly pushing an elevator button. He's like, I'm going to do it with minimal effort. With my thumb. I'm
going to have him very clearly pushing that elevator door with the other hand.
All right. That's a shame. Oh, that thumb is much smaller than the other thumb.
Well, you got this one stuck in the door.
I forgot. Yeah.
Here, I'll bandage it up for him.
But obviously the movie iRobot is about, like, if all your robot butlers that were super cool and do everything you hope they could, that was a good bandage. I believe it.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Stuck in the door.
Yeah, iRobot's like, if your robot butlers all, turned evil, And by evil we mean, like, they told you couldn't go outside.
Yeah, it's one of those, the robots were designed to protect humans, and they realized the only way they could do that is by making it so humans can never leave their house.
Yeah, which, I mean...
There's a lot of truth to it.
It's like every robot movie, right? It's like we put robots in charge, and they decided the best thing for humans was to just
but
wipe this all out.
We say it's like everything because Isaac Asimov wrote it in the 50s.
He made it like the cliche.
And then, like, it wasn't a cliche when he did it.
Yeah, because he was one of the first ones to think about what robots would think about.
Yeah. Like, if you told robots your main purpose is to protect humans, what would they do?
They'd have to get rid of the main threat to humans.
Which is humans.
And then, like, Terminator and some other things decided to do it differently.
Yeah.
And then everything else kind of decided the same way. But here's the thing. So he designs robots. There's robots in the movie iRobot, and they have to follow the...
I don't know why this has 3 buttons on this. This one's
There's always that one that has the key. Yeah, the one that's always like, who has that key? Like, I want to be the person who has the elevator key. Because you're clearly cooler than everyone else.
I've heard that it's actually not as impressive. It's usually just, it will skip every floor.
See?
Like, it's not, it's just...
That's like what everybody who has an elevator in their, like, building wants, is they want the key that's like, bring me the elevator directly.
Yeah. But it's like, it's for, like, the staff and...
Still have no idea. Was there... I just have to pause our discussion. Was your plan to have an elevator in this drawing before I mentioned the guy's finger?
No.
Okay, so...
it didn't matter where he was. So now he's in front of an elevator.
Yeah, sure, why not? But what are so in the movie iRobot, the robots have to follow the three, what is it, laws of robotics. Yeah. 3 laws of robotics, which I could paraphrase, or I could look them up really quickly. funny how it's like you Google that and it's like the first Google search because people are looking up robot stuff lately. First law. They call them laws of robotics.
Mm-hmm.
First law. A robot must not harm a human or allow a human to come to harm through inaction. So, robots can't hurt people or allow people to be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
By not, like if a robot sees you about to step in front of a bus, it has to try to save you.
Right.
At
damaging of itself.
Yeah, like robots have to realize that humans are more important.
Yeah.
Second law is that a robot must obey orders from humans unless those orders conflict with the first law.
Mm-hmm.
So robots have to do what we say unless it's going to hurt somebody directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, that is the first thing that people would reprogram robots to do. They'd be like...
hurt people?
They'd be like war robots and assassin robots, like within a week.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
Like, unless you can somehow so hard code those laws, which that's the whole point of Isaac Asimov's thing, is that those are super hard coded.
Yeah, but again, Isaac Asimov was doing this in like the 50s.
Yeah.
When he's like, well, no normal human has a computer or any way of programming a robot.
Yeah.
Now it's like any hacker within like 5 minutes is going to mod their robot to be like pushing people in front of buses or something. They're just going to like turn the dial the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting how that's going to have to work. And the third law, a robot must protect its own existence unless doing so conflicts with the first and second law. So, like, robots have to, like, if they're going to get run over by a train, they have to move,
Yeah, like
they don't want to damage the robots.
Right, but it's also important to realize that, like, if a human is going to get hit, it's still supposed to sacrifice itself to save the human, but it won't just let someone tell it, destroy yourself, and it will just do it. Like, like why waste the robot?
Exactly. So those are the three laws. You think Elon's robots follow those laws?
I mean, I think they're pretty good laws. Like
they are. Isaac Asimov knew what he was doing.
I think most people agree that like you really have no problems with those laws.
Yeah, robots can't hurt others. They have to listen to us. That second one's where it gets tricky because all the movies are like, and then the robot stopped obeying the second law.
Right. Or they reinterpreted the second half of the first law as, we have to protect humans
by disobeying
and it's like, so you have to disobey them because in like it almost gets to the point where it's like a human says go do this, and it's like, well, doing that will cause a chain reaction that will eventually cause a human it's like go cook me a food. It's like, well, technically that food is unhealthy for you, which will have a long-lasting effect of causing you harm.
Man,
so I can't do it.
I think Elon knows what he's doing, man, making robots, because robots just complicated. They're just like not gonna listen to us,
especially if they're like connected to some like hive mind. Gosh, and it's just like scary. All human knowledge, but it's like, is human knowledge even correct? Like, do we know what's good for us?
Like, how are you gonna, like, I don't want my robot behaving like the internet.
Yeah, the internet's a scary place. And look at our comment section.
Yeah, terrifying.
Some of them like us.
Yeah, I'd have to program in a rule that's like, don't let people watch these poor artists. Stop them. Whatever.
Like, for their own sake. Like, that goes along with the first rule.
It'd be a very specific, line in the code about us.
Yeah.
I can't help but notice that your elevator is, like, right on the edge of the wall. How does the door open? Where does it go? Because normally the doors go into the wall, when they open
this door.
That door doesn't open.
It like folds.
Like, it either folds or it just like goes into the hallway or like curves backwards, I guess. I'm just saying, you will never on Earth see an elevator located where you have located this elevator.
Yeah, let's see, I drew this guy higher up than this guy, which meant he had to be farther back.
There's just so many like engineering problems that you've created for this building. Not to mention that guy's hair on the right is just what I picture every aged grandmother having.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like, it looks like something just died on his head, or it's sleeping on his. Like, he has like a hedgehog, and it's just asleep on his bald head, tucked behind his eyes. Like, because he has like no sideburns or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not that your other guy does, because his head is clearly just the skin droops at the top. It's hard to tell if that's even hair. What is that thing? It's like a flying golf bag.
Yep.
I'd like to give a shout out. I have a little sister who watches our videos. I mean, she's like a lot littler than me. And I don't just mean she's short, but she is. She was watching our videos the other day, apparently, and just for the first time realized that we're bad at art.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's kind of sad it took this long.
Yeah, we're really bad at art. It's not a joke. I like to just point that out from time to time. This is our skill level. We're also bad at spelling.
Mostly me.
Yeah. Is that the new? I'm assuming that's is that the new iRobot? Yeah, living in third person is the best.
Yeah, so this is a robot that follows you.
This would be cool.
And you wear VR glasses.
Oh, man.
And you watch. So it's like, you know how like there's the whole debate. It's a first person or third person video game better?
Yeah.
Like this is life is now in third person.
I feel like this would be super cool and also just the most disorienting thing possible.
Well, but like you would probably get used to it.
I don't know that your depth perception would ever adjust properly. Like the fact that he has hit the elevator button is real impressive. But he also clearly got his finger stuck in a door. So you know there's some depth perception problems.
Right, but like
as
I feel
in the art, this is a new robot, and he's still getting used to it.
Right, like I feel like you could potentially get used to it.
Yeah,
and like especially if it was well done, like when you focused on something, it kind of did like some amount of perspective focusing thing.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would like the opportunity to try this. You know. Because, like, we've all played first-person video games and third-person video games. In case you don't play video games and can't understand this concept very well, because, I don't know, you're stupid. Not as stupid as us. Don't, like, when I say... Like, when someone stupid calls you stupid, you're just like, am I, though? You're not. But, like, if first-person means you're looking through the eyes of the character, so generally you only see, like, the character's forearms.
Right.
You know? Like, you look down at your feet if it's a really cool video game. Third person is when you're like this. You're like a couple of feet behind your character, and you can see the whole character.
Right, and so like in a video game, it's nice oftentimes for third person because you can see everything your character's doing, and like you can like there's like extra perspective and stuff. Because that's one thing that's hard to do on a screen is having that peripheral vision and stuff.
Yeah,
so third person kind of gives
what
you
those try to do, but then first person in a way is more like immersive because you are the character,
right?
VR really does kind of solve this in a way because you're in first person view, and then you can just look around to your left and right, and you have like peripherals if you have a decent VR system.
Yeah. So, but this is suggesting that some people just really prefer third person view.
Yeah.
And that they would even want to live life.
I'm surprised this doesn't actually exist. Like, this probably does.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably some engineer on YouTube who's tried this.
And sometimes it's so useful. Because, like, you think of, like, driving, like, those brand new cars that, like, when you're parking, you can turn on the cameras all around you.
Yeah, my car has that. That's cool.
Yeah, so you can, like, see where you're parking, and you can't. Like when you're like driving,
it's like a top-down view of your car.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like it's so nice. So that like there's definitely times where you would want this. Like you'd probably want it to have the ability to like turn on and off with a real quick.
Yeah, probably.
But also, do you notice that in this world they skip floor 12 and have 2 13s?
I didn't notice that, but that's good because I'm always so. It's a weird annoyance that I have. Like if you go to any building that has more than
13 floors,
or like 12, if it has 13 floors, right?
Yeah.
Like they never say I don't think they build buildings that are just 13 floors.
Right. Because what would you even say?
Like when we were on the road trip, the hotel we stayed in the road trip, I was showing Benj. I was like, we were on like the 22nd floor, but they never list the 13th floor.
Yeah.
They just go straight to 14, which is just absurd.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it works. If you're on the 14th floor, you are 13 floors up.
Yeah.
Like, it's just how it works.
If 13 is unlucky, just know if you think the number 13 is unlucky,
get help.
Don't be on the 14th floor because it is the 13th floor. Like that doesn't change.
Just not putting it in the elevator on the button.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change reality.
Yes. Thank you.
Unless, of course, it's like all those TV shows where it's like, oh, there is a 13th floor. It's just where all the assassins live.
Yeah, or like where the monsters are.
Yeah, or the wizards and whatnot.
You need the key to go to the 13th floor. And you don't want the key to go to the 13th floor.
No.
Full of poor art. The whole floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our hotel is going to have a 13th floor labeled as the 13th.
There will be no rooms.
No.
It will
be all of our worst. Like, we will give a reason for you not to like the 13th floor. You know, like, it'll just be
like endless hallways. It'll be like a maze.
Yes.
Of poor art.
You have to, like, sign a waiver, and someone will turn the key for you, and they'll say a prayer on your way up, and then they'll, release you to the 13th floor.
Yes.
Where all the other poor, unfortunate souls wander. You know,
I should title this
and age and name it.
And name it. Is
that what it's called? Man, the engineers watching are just having a heyday with your elevator. They're like, they're both hating it. They're like, how do we invent this?
It's so cool.
Because elevator technicians, let's be honest, elevators haven't changed much in years.
No,
they're looking for the next great thing.
Yeah. Just know it folds. I don't know exactly what that means, but it does.
They made elevators, and then they made, like, glass elevators. You know, like, you could see out the windows and doors and stuff. And then, like, that's where it ended. They haven't improved.
I'm going to save this now. Ooh. Did you, like, turn it off?
I did something that wasn't good. Which is, just par for the course. What we do. Things that aren't good. Guy on the right's hairstyle.
Poor, even.
Yeah, poor. The guy on the right's hairstyle is still bothering me so much. It's like a shower cap almost, but that's like his style. Oh. Yeah, there's something wrong with his lip, too. All right, so iRobot. There's a lot of puns and good ideas that go with iRobot. You did not pick the one I expected, although yours kind of has to do with, like, eyes, right?
Yeah, it changes the perspective. It kind of, it's related, but it's also like Apple made it.
Oh, see, that's the problem. Apple, like, now has, like, I don't know if trademark's the right word, but Apple's the one who makes all the products now.
Right.
Like iPod and the iPad.
I think it's not illegal to call something whatever.
But they clearly stole it from Isaac Asimov, right?
They must have. I mean...
Because, in case you don't know the history, you can expound on the history of the
like Isaac Asimov wrote...
Good name, by the way.
Oh,
Asimov. And Isaac.
He wrote
Asimov.
He wrote most of his stories in like the 50s and stuff. I mean, he didn't like die in the 50s. I don't know when his like most recent... that would be something to look up. But the book iRobot is a collection of multiple of his short stories.
No name wrong.
Yeah, but he wrote them like all in the 50s.
Yeah,
but the collection was put together in
1997. Yeah, and then the next year, 1998, the iMac came out. You think they didn't know what they were doing over there at Apple?
Like,
Come on.
They're like, oh, it stands for Internet, and it's like, okay, that's fine and good, but it's also after that super popular book that just came out the year before. But I actually wonder then why did Isaac Asimov call it iRobot? Because that actually would be, or was it even him, or was it like his publisher?
I don't know that much about it. I went with mouth first style.
You've been successful at that a few times.
A couple. Let's see.
Especially that Father's Day. Anyone who wants to go back and look at that Father's Day video, Isaac did some pretty good mouth first people.
It's true.
Some fathers.
Yeah. If I'm doing mangled hand style, I might as well try with mouth first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't have to do nose first style. I'll leave that to you. But what do they wear in the future, other than nothing? Because they've gotten over their embarrassments.
They wear inside-out jackets.
Oh yeah,
pants.
too long sleeve.
Yeah.
Hats that look like the 3D film on.
Yeah. It's like the most 80s.
Yeah, that's true. Back to the Future. Future was like the 80s just gets more intense.
Yeah,
like
it's more 80s.
Yeah, that was real bad. Like whoever was involved in that meeting was probably like a bunch of old guys, and they're like, "Well, we're in the future. It's not going to get any worse than this or different than this, right?
It's just going to be this more.
Yeah, it's just more intense."
Like
stupid. Like
yeah, iRobot was a really good showing of the future.
It really is a great showing
of
the future.
Like having the self-driving cars that are like going so fast that a human isn't legally allowed to drive them because we don't have fast enough reaction speeds.
Yeah,
having robots do all the chores.
Ken hasn't done that in a while. I like the part in iRobot where Will Smith, because I told you he's like the retro guy. He doesn't like all the future-y stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He has like an old car, and by an old car I mean like a car that uses gasoline still,
right?
And he or a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle.
And he gets on it with this other lady who works for the robot company, and she's like, "This doesn't use gasoline, does it? Like gasoline explodes."
Yeah,
and you're like watching that, and you're like, "Oh, like they've moved on." And back in 2004, people were like, "Well, what would it be? Like hydrogen, or like now it's like, oh, it's clearly just an electric car,
right?
Like,
yeah,
it's like what Elon Musk makes by the millions, like."
Yep. Which ironically still can't explode.
Yeah, and when they do explode, it's
they
like way worse.
Way worse. Yeah, like they definitely explode less often, but it's worse when they do. But that's an issue that could be solved one day because they're lithium ion batteries. That's our main drawback right now.
Oh my gosh.
And there's definitely companies working towards getting rid of that. Like solid state batteries and stuff. So one day,
when we have better batteries, we'll just have really cool technology.
Yeah, and you won't have to worry about them exploding or anything as much.
Yeah, because like if an electric car explodes now, like firefighters won't do anything about it.
Yeah,
they just let it burn.
The lithium burns too hot.
They can't put it out with fire. Pour all the fire. Nothing happens. But like water, they'll just let it burn, and it will like burn through streets. Like that's like a problem. Like it burns through cement.
Yeah, like you just have to remake the road afterwards. Yeah, lithium just burns way too hot, way too strong, and nothing puts it out.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
But
wasn't so scary. Oh my goodness, this pen today. What is? How do we fix it? We just like we press it in more.
I think you pull it out a little bit.
Right, but I haven't done this in like weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't doing it for me.
Today's drawing?
It was working for me. But
I don't know what hands look like in the future.
But iRobot at this point is kind of an old movie.
It is, but it's also still like one of the more futuristic movies.
Yeah, like if you haven't seen iRobot, it's a good story. Good acting, good CGI. I mean, like it stands the test of time. Yeah, like you should go watch it for sure. Instead of this, like, why are you watching us when you could be watching iRobot?
Turn us off. I mean, I know this is also titled iRobot, so some of you are probably here because you're like, oh, the movie on YouTube, and I didn't look at the thumbnail.
Right.
Which like, clearly they put a fake thumbnail.
Yeah, and you're still watching this after 40 minutes.
This isn't the movie your friends were telling you about.
Yeah, like they're not. Sorry. If you were like being told this is good, Will Smith is going to be on it. Will Smith is not coming on to here.
Although I will say this: if you know Will Smith, and he's a fan of poor art, drop him. Let him know
if he wants to come, or I mean, we'll go to him.
We don't care who he slaps.
Yeah. He can slap both of us the whole time.
He can slap us, repeatedly during our art. Like, that would be the whole episode. It'd be like, look at what kind of poor art we can draw while being repeatedly slapped in the face by Will Smith.
Right.
That video would be the most incredible thing.
But then Will Smith should also draw something.
Yeah, we won't slap Will Smith. We won't do that. Unless he wants us to.
Yeah, if that's what he's into.
Like, if this is like, he's like, I need to, show my public it's not okay. Like, Also, if he doesn't want to address the whole slapping thing, we're also cool with that.
No, yeah.
We'll do whatever you
want. We don't want you on here because you slap.
No. that's.
But we also don't mind.
All right. Future dude here. What? Future people are all going to wear headbands. It's just going to be a thing. Yeah, but you still see the guys. Kind of like Ninja Turtle future.
I just looked up at your wall and noticed you have some new things on your wall. Is that Jesus with the lightsaber?
It's not Jesus with the lightsaber. That is Ezra Bridger. He's from the Ahsoka show. Mm-hmm. He's also from Star Wars Rebels, but that's the live action version of him, and he does very much resemble Jesus. Yeah, okay. With a lightsaber. Like, that would be cool. And also really sacrilegious, I think, if I had Jesus, like. But like, we don't know what Jesus looks like.
Well, it's also, like it says, he was my master, taught me everything I know.
I'm not talking about God. It's not like Jesus was talking about God. Yeah. No, it's interesting. His name is Amon Esfandi, I think. Esfand, yeah, something like that.
The actor?
The actor, yeah. That guy.
Yeah, that guy. He could play Jesus in something if he wanted to.
I think he's probably good.
Like, that had nothing to do with it. I
don't know what this... I said this guy has a headband. I'm regretting this decision.
Not... Like...
Maybe
I'll give those his eyes?
Yeah, they are. Like... I'm just thinking...
Have they always been his eyes?
Let me explain what my thought process was here. Like, I think the future is very much going to be AR... Mm-hmm. Where it's like augmented reality. People don't know what VR is, virtual reality. Mm-hmm. That's where you put on a headset and you only see like a screen really close to your eyes, like the thing our parents warned us about in the 90s.
Yeah.
But now AR is where you still, like, you look through the screen, it's clear, like glasses, but it adds stuff to the real world.
Right.
Like, it'll put a TV on the wall where there's not, or it'll, like, show you, like, the path to the treasure, and X marks the spot on the spot where it is.
Or you look at someone's head and it pulls up their, like, Facebook information.
I think that's the future. There's a lot of cool companies that make like glasses for this now.
Plus, there's a lot of like
Apple's probably the number one that actually does that.
And you may have listened to everything that we just said and thought those are all dumb things, but there's some like real useful stuff. Like someone who's deaf could have subtitles to real life, or like someone who's mute could use their eyes tracking to communicate.
Or people who don't know sign language can look at somebody doing sign language and it interprets that for them, so they can talk to somebody who's...
Or vice versa.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think the future ones are just going to look like a sweatband around your eyes with an antenna.
Okay.
Double antenna. We're going to go back to that.
But again, are those his original eyes?
I think they might be robot.
Because like they're on the wrong part of his head. Like the nose is in between the eyes. You know that, right? Not like to the side of both eyes.
You're saying this eye shouldn't be there? This one?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just going to leave it. like I could fix it, I think, but that's not the whole point of
that's more like where the ear would be. In fact, I think that's exactly where the ear would be.
Not here. He's kind of like, I don't know where his ear is. I will say that zippers are going to make a comeback though at some point.
Yeah, I mean zippers
like
are just,
it's like it's not, that's not one zipper. It just looks like it.
This just matches up perfectly. Like there's a magnet that keeps the zippers connected.
Yeah. Magnets and zippers are going to make a comeback in the future. Because they're way more.
I mean, magnets are the future right now. Like, they're so cool.
Anyway.
Like a magnet train, so much cooler than a regular train.
This guy isn't the main point of this drawing. He's not the robot. He's just a man.
That's the other thing. iRobot, like, a lot of their car, like, they were, like, magnet. Like, they were, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were, like, floating and stuff. Like, hover.
Yeah, like the trains in Japan.
Yep. Because that's certainly the future. Oh. The giant football lemon.
It's not a football lemon, it's an eye. Everybody knows that. Come on, man.
No, I know. I did. I will admit I knew that.
Yeah, I know. It was a joke. We planned it. I'm going to draw an eye. You call it a football lemon. No, we didn't plan that. We don't plan anything that we ever do.
No.
Sometimes we discuss, like, don't take all the good puns, okay?
Yeah.
And the other person's like, no.
I will take all
the good puns. You left me the eye one, though.
I did.
I was like, you draw the unrealistic elevator, I'll draw the eye.
Yep.
Huh? Because that's how it works. Oh, that was interesting.
Yep, that happened.
That doesn't make any sense. Oh no. Okay, fine. You know what? Ben's always give me a hard time for making.
But this is also like the 6th time this video that you've erased something.
And I know that the people in the comments are hating on me for it, so that's just gonna be there. And we're just gonna have to figure out what that is later.
Well, you could just make it like 3D.
You say that. You
like if you just like continue that and then bring it down and then connect it to the bottom, yeah. See that actually makes more sense than whatever you were doing.
That looks like skill now.
Oh, what angle is this? Like both?
Yeah, they both have the same angle.
Both are at the same angle?
They put this leg on backwards. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Gosh, now I have to do it like multiple times. I imagine robots being made out of Lincoln log type things in the future.
Why is this one over here? I don't. Your perspective thing, like the first one.
This is not Tesla people making these. This is like off-brand. Right. This is like Temu iRobot.
Like someone heard iRobot and they're like, "Oh, this is what they meant." They didn't even look at a picture.
This is like the Temu or the Wish.com. Like you ordered the new iRobot, and this is what showed up. This is not okay, but it's also. It's also what happened.
But like this guy's also this guy's from the future.
Yeah.
Like he has his AR thing. Mm-hmm. But he looks so freaked out by this.
Well, this is unlike anything he's ever seen. Like he's heard of these Wish.com robots, but when one shows up at your door. I like it being like an off-brand one because no matter how janky I draw it now, it's just like, that wasn't the original.
Like, did he order an iRobot and he's just so disappointed that this is what showed up?
I'm not really sure yet.
Like, he looks terrified. Is what I'm saying.
Look at this thing, man.
Like, this isn't disappointment. Like,
this is fear.
This is the wish one. This is like, I just ordered the image of the beast.
Oh, look at it. It's like one of those biblical angels we talk about. If I draw a few hundred more eyes, some more faces or something, we'll be there. I also need to give it some eyelashes.
Eyelashes? What does it need eyelashes for? To get the dust out of it? Like, does it have eyelids?
It's kind of like windshield wiper blades.
But they're so small.
Well, they extend and they when you go to the car wash and they have like those giant mops that just like hang down and your car just gets like slapped by the mop strings. I don't even know what to call it. That's what happens with these. They just like extend. You hear like this just they squeeze out.
And then it moves
and like whips its head back and forth. You're just like, everybody in the family, look away. Look away. You're like it's like a wet dog shaking off next to you.
I knew I should have gotten the self-cleaning feature.
And then it just like sucks them back in. You're just like it's really a disturbing moment.
Everything about this so much worse.
Yeah, so I imagine this is like being delivered. Like it's got like rocket feet.
It delivers itself.
Yeah, like
but like so again, this guy did in fact order an iRobot.
Yeah.
He just wasn't expecting this.
He was not in fact expecting this.
Is the guy also flying?
Yes, gotta have to figure that out, aren't we?
Like, I'm just wondering where the ground is, since this thing is now flying.
Maybe his house is like over here.
Like off a cliff.
Future houses are very boxy.
Yeah,
this works.
Everyone knows the future's boxy.
Yeah, isn't that a weird thing? We all just it's either no because there's two versions of the future that we might get. It's either going to be really boxy or really like smooth and cylindrical.
Yeah,
you know, like everything is going to be. But like boxy makes more sense,
right?
Because like it's just that's
because once everything's machine made, it's easier to make it boxy. Like that just makes sense. You can make it easier and cheaper and faster if it's boxy.
Yeah, but not future-y. This is the iRobot.
It is an iRobot.
Yeah, like nobody can deny that.
Yeah.
And it's going to speak.
Oh, how unfortunate for everyone.
Yes. What will it say? What will it say to its new master? It will say... Hello.
World. You know, like that common trope. Oh, man. This would just be so unfortunate.
You can understand his fear now. It's like, this thing thinks I'm its father. I'm not prepared to be a father yet. Not to this. I know nothing. I'm unqualified to raise it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, I know there's some burping involved with newborns. But how?
It's just an eye.
Where's the diaper? Good thing I got the self-cleaning feature. He thinks that now. Yeah, he hasn't seen it. Yeah, this is the future.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm okay with not living in the future. Like, I don't mean that in a sense that like I don't want to
continue living. That's good.
I just mean if this is the future, I'm okay with living in the present.
This is like his security cam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like shocked at seeing this new
smart house.
Yeah, like the house is really concerned about this new arrival. You know, like
yeah, like this thing's gonna cause damage to the house.
Yeah, like it's not gonna make it through the front door.
No.
Yeah, and the house knows this guy's not ready to be a dad.
It watches him.
Yeah, like it watches him all the time. Like, not as much as this thing's watching him, because this thing is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Giant iRobot. But
yeah.
Did you do a lowercase I?
Yeah, I did. Because I mean, my thing was like
R?
an Apple product.
Uppercase R.
I did. That is what. That's how I wrote it.
It's funny how like there's been like robot companies around for years. Like what's that one? The one that makes robots. Company.
Yes.
There's something it's like Industrial Light and Magic, but not at all that.
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like Skynet. No, that's from Terminator. Boston Dynamics.
Yes, Boston Dynamics.
Boston Dynamics. Like iRobot is a company. Let's just put this out there. iRobot as a company exists. They make robot vacuums.
Right.
You know, like that company should be just dismantled for its ignorance. Like we don't want
like
iRobot. We want a robot that uses our vacuum, not one that is a vacuum.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, we want a human robot, walks around, uses our vacuum, uses our laundry machine, uses our kitchen.
Yeah.
Like a human would.
Yes. I don't know where these sleep, though. Like, it's not getting in my bed. You know? Like, I don't want it in my room, like in my closet.
No, yeah, it just like goes to the corner of your room.
Like, just stands there all night.
All night.
It's in the corner, like it's in charging.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like it has like a charging pad it stands on in the corner of your room.
Or it just like crawls under your bed. It sleeps under your bed all night charging.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take all night to charge.
Yeah, but it'd be worse because it wakes up and it's just awake under you
because
after 2 hours.
It would just be like every 4 hours it charges for 2 hours or something like that.
See, this is like mine's gonna be like go in the backyard and stand there, get real far away. Like I don't want to hear. I don't.
No, you gotta have a charging pad in multiple spots, so it can work as long as possible.
Maybe we can.
You don't want it like working in your upstairs and being like, oh, I got to go all the way downstairs outside to my charging port.
Maybe we can get one to replace Josh in the corner over there.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Put the charging thing over there.
He just sits there and just watches us. Basically, get a robot to do Josh's job.
I wonder what like Elon Musk's the version that was at the party. Like I wonder how good of a battery life those things have.
Yeah,
because I mean,
wondering that too. Like, how long did at the party did they did this they're out there for a half hour and then they had to go charge?
Right, which would still be pretty impressive, even if it could only work for half an hour. That's enough time to do the laundry.
Fold my laundry. Yeah,
and then go charge, then come back and cook me food, then go charge. Sure. I mean, if it works, even if it's like charges for 2 hours and works for half an hour, that's. I mean, many hours of work I don't have to do.
Yeah, and it just does all that while you're at work.
Yeah.
So you just come home and you
just
no
come
chores
home
left.
And the house is clean and there's food ready for you.
Yeah, but let's be honest. The first models of
and then it goes to the store. It wouldn't have to go to the store, but the food is delivered to your house.
Yeah.
It goes and picks up the food from the front door, puts it in the fridge, then cooks you food that gets done right when you arrive home.
We're so close to the future. We're so close,
Yep. We're not going to get version 1. Version 1 is going to be $60,000.
Yeah, you and I.
And no. But version 25.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
When they're $2.99.
Yep. Every house has a couple.
Yeah. Every house comes with a couple.
Yep.
Two Poor Artist Hotel is going to be real interesting with them. We're not going to let them make art, though.
No.
They can hand us our pens and dab our brow. Stuff like that. They can wash our clothes. They can... Maybe we'll have them concuss an octopus in the...
Yeah, they'll be the ones punching the octopus.
But again, I don't know. There's an art to cooking.
Yeah.
So, never mind.
Yeah. It's I mean, and you don't even necessarily want every job. If you owned a hotel, would you want a robot to be... Or would you want some maids... and butlers or whatever, and then also some robots.
This is the decision we're going to have to make in the future. How much is too much?
Yeah, because it's there's always that human touch. That's not going to go away, I don't think, anytime soon.
I don't think so.
But there's a lot of tedious jobs that a robot can do better and without complaining.
It's true. That's the big part, right? No complaining. I'm not even going to get into all the jobs it's going to destroy by
Yeah.
But let's be honest, taxi drivers.
Taxi driving has already kind of been destroyed by Uber.
That was a good first step.
Yeah. And this is just the next step of Uber.
But all new technology also creates new types of jobs. You have tons of taxi maintenance people that have to drive around in their own cars to make sure that the taxis, when they get lost and break down and stuff, are taken care of.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more tow truck
You're still going to have people throwing up in the back seat of your Tesla taxi. Someone's going to have to clean that.
And it's and right now we're not at the point yet that a robot can clean that.
How hard it is to climb into the back seat and clean up?
Yep, and clean it enough that it smells good and everything.
Yeah, it's going to take
there's things robots just aren't going to be able to do for a while.
Yeah.
And by the time that the robots can do that, there will be other jobs for humans.
I got to be completely honest, though. The thing I'm looking forward to the most of what Elon showed, sure, I'm looking forward to that laundry folding robot. But, cars that we don't have to drive.
Yeah.
That's one of the... Go watch iRobot this week. And, just look at, their freeways where they're going, 250 miles an hour.
Right.
It's perfectly safe. Because A, they're on magnetic roads to keep it all stabilized. But B, because everybody's in a self-driving car, you don't have to worry about that crazy person who's driving the wrong way on the road. You know? Everyone just drives really safe because everything's pre-programmed to be safe. Nobody can break the law, nobody can run a red light. And
you don't have to worry about parking. You just get dropped off at the front and it parks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in iRobot, they had like those weird like parking things. You know, like the bike racks in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah,
they had that for the cars.
Store your car away.
But even if you just had regular parking lots, the car just drops you off in the front and parks itself.
I mean, Tesla
or goes and picks someone else up. You know, like
regular Teslas can do that. You can get a Tesla now that like you could just drive it up to the front of the building, you get out and it goes and parks itself.
Yeah.
Or you park it and it meets you at the front of the store where you're like have all your stuff.
Yeah. And there's definitely a future though also where no one even owns a car.
Yeah.
It's you
subscribe.
You just subscribe. You have a subscription.
Which, I don't know.
And it's like there's definitely
I like that.
There's definitely pros and cons to it, but it could in theory be cheaper than owning a car yourself.
It's true.
Because that car could be driving multiple people. You know, it's like it drives you to work. Your car is doing nothing and making no money and helping no one the whole time you're at work.
Like, can my car become a taxi for other? Like, I buy the car.
You buy the car
while I'm at work.
It's making money.
It's working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just beg of all the robot makers to not make one like I just drew. No self-cleaning windshield wiper noodles. Nothing.
Yeah, and this is just. Timo shouldn't be allowed to make robots.
No, they shouldn't. That's really... They should be limited to companies that you can, like, sort of trust. I don't trust any company, really. But Temu and Wish, like, they're just lying.
Yeah.
Right? Like, nothing you see.
Right.
It's like, oh, just buy this Xbox for $2.50. And you're like... That is a lie. Like anybody who believes otherwise.
Whatever's going to show up is not going to be an Xbox.
Yeah. But like, I don't know how they get away with advertising that. You know, it's like, is nobody seeing this clear lie?
Well, because who's gonna? It's one of those like international things where it's like who?
It's like it's based in China. We either have to invade China or allow this company to keep lying to us.
Yeah,
it's like
because it's like who's going to stop them? Like what authority?
Yeah.
Like, even if you're like, well, China should stop them. It's like, but are they even, like, in China? You know what I mean? Like, once you get to, like, international, it's so hard to make
just
rules.
Like a sketchy warehouse somewhere that sends you stuff.
Yeah, and you're just like, you know, it's like, oh, we're a Chinese company with warehouses in Brazil. You know, and it's just like, they can do anything they want. No one can stop them.
Yeah, you just have to not order from them. If you're ordering, let me just end with this advice today, because we give good advice on this channel.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, we do. It's poor heart and good advice. Good has many quotes and many things the legal team is pounding on the window of the studio. Just like holding up the definition of good. With crossing it out with a big red Sharpie. Just that's the disclaimer from the legal team. they don't like us.
No.
I don't know what to say. Oh, stop ordering from Wish and Temu. I don't care what reason you have. It's bad. That's all I have to say about that. Also, I hope you enjoyed our poor art, and someone should buy us a hotel. We'll fill it with robots.
We'll put elevators on the corners.
Ooh, that'll be a thing. See you next time.
Bye.
As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.